What's happening, y'all? What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Corner Store Podcast, episode 143. It's February the 28th, 2025. Thank you so much for being here. We got one person on the live right now. We got two people on the live right now. Thank y'all for being here. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. As you can see, I'm happy as I can be. I am alive. I am well. I'm doing what I need to do. I hope you are too. Thank y'all for being here. This is Corner Store Podcast, and this is your host, OMD 300, aka Doc Savage, the Man of Bronze. For those who don't know me literally, my name is Dexter Davis. Thank you for being here. I want to give a shout out before I get going on the show today to a premier barbershop. What's happening? Vern Miller, what's up, dangerous gentleman from New York in the building. Also Atlanta, Georgia is in the building. Mr. Christopher Davis, Negus Freeman himself, what's happening? I want to give a premier barbershop in my area. These guys are amazing. Shout out to the barber, Brian, the homeboy. I gotta give him his props, and I gotta give the shop their props. I'm gonna pull up their information. I have to because they are the business. They took care of me today, and I couldn't be more appreciative of them. They are amazing. Diamond Cuts. I got to give it to you. Shout out to Diamond Cuts. What's up, Best? We got New York, we got Atlanta, Georgia, and we got France. We got the country of France in the building, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. I can't even talk. I'm so happy that all of my folks that showed up today. Let me give a shout out to Diamond Cuts Barbershop. Diamond Cuts Barbershop is at 17527 Chatsworth Street, Granada Hills, California. That's 91344. If you want to give them a call, if you want to give Diamond Cuts a call right now and tell them that Dexter Davis, OMD from Corner Store Podcast, shouted them out. Their number is 818-923-5176. That is 818-923-5176. They hooked me up today. As you can see, I got the fresh cut, the beard lined up. I'm looking good than a motherfucker. Shout out to Brian the barber. He is the business dude. Be tightening. He be getting money too. I seen that shit today. You motherfucker. God damn. He had a stack on him, man. Motherfucking, it ain't even number 1 o'clock in Pacific time, and that motherfucker already got money. So I got to give it to him. Shout out to Diamond Cuts right here in Granada Hills, California, in the San Fernando Valley, just north of Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles. Thank y'all for being here, man. We got a lot to talk about on the show today. First topic being Gene Hackman. I know most of y'all know who this is. Most of y'all know who the hell this is. Gene Hackman, Oscar award-winning actor. He won 2 Oscars, and I can tell you what those movies. The first one was back in the 1970s for The French Connection, where he played Detective Popeye Doyle. Also, he won for Unforgiven. He won a Best Supporting Oscar with Clint Eastwood in the Western Unforgiven. And it was a great movie. If you've never seen Unforgiven, go see it. For Western standards, which Westerns are good. Some of them can be kind of boring, but most of the time they're pretty awesome. Unforgiven was a classic Western, a classic Clint Eastwood film, directed by Clint Eastwood, by the way. Also starring Morgan Freeman, just to throw that in there. Morgan Freeman was in that in a supporting role as well. Gene Hackman dead at 95 years old. Gene Hackman, yes, you heard me. Gene Hackman dead at 95 years old, alongside his 64-year-old Asian wife, who happened to be very beautiful. That's a side note because of all the pictures that I've seen of him with her. I could see why he would marry her physically. She probably was a great person as well. God rest both of them, their souls. And this was in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I have just a little information because a lot hasn't come out about it, other than the fact that it may have been foul play. When it was first reported, it was reported that there was no foul play. It didn't seem like there could have been a crime that was committed. But now it's starting to look like that there's a conspiracy, that there was a murder committed. And the weird thing about all of this is that Gene Hackman was killed, his wife was dead, as well as their family dog, their family pet. And it's crazy how all three of them died, and they were all in separate parts of the house. So now it's being investigated as a homicide. Especially there was pills. Some of the reports that have come out saying that pills were found in different parts of the house, like they were scattered around. It may have been a possible burglary and murder. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But I will say this: I have a little sound I want you guys to hear in regards to the case, and I'm going to play that now. Give me a second, and I'll pull that up. We can go to that, and you'll hear a little bit about speculation on this.
See, and one of their dogs.
Let me replay this because it started off.
Coast.
Go. There you go. Here we go. Now all of a sudden the shit don't want to play. That's fucking crazy.
Investigators in New Mexico are still working to establish how the actor Gene Hackman died, along with his wife Betsy and one of their dogs. Their bodies were found in separate rooms at their home. They had been dead for a while. Prescription pills were scattered in the bathroom where his wife was found. Investigators in New
Now that's all the news that I have on it, and that was reported by Channel 4 News in New Mexico, that pills were scattered all around the house, and that this is a murder, ladies and gentlemen. This is a murder. We don't know why they were killed. Let's be honest. Gene Hackman, obviously, with the career that he's had, and a lot of people don't know about the world of entertainment as far as actors are concerned. They do make a lot of money, but there's a lot of actors who will make $1 million or makes a certain amount of money, and they'll go broke. It's not like you can really get rich off becoming an actor. You can, but you have to play your cards right like anybody else and invest well. And it seems that Gene Hackman invested well to the point where he was in Santa Fe. He had a nice spread. He built his home on his land, and subsequently, it seems like there's a possibility that foul play took place, and him and his wife was murdered. I'm sure that more details will be forthcoming, and this is my 2 cents on the whole subject. Other than the fact that Gene Hackman lived a pretty long life, he lived a pretty long life. 95 years is a long time. And last video that I saw of Gene Hackman, he was real thin. I mean, so thin that he was unrecognizable. Now, all of us are going to go through this as we age, if we get to at least a remnant to close to how old Gene Hackman got. 95 years, he's almost 100 years old. 5 more years, he would have hit the century mark. And that's saying a lot. For you to be here that long is a big deal. So they obviously, people around town, or maybe somebody was watching them or something to that effect, they knew that Gene was an old man, and they knew he had he was 32 years his wife's senior, meaning he had 32 years on her. So she wasn't a spring chicken herself. I mean, 64 years old is not old by today's standards. There's a lot of people. There's a woman, an African-American woman, 72, that owns a restaurant, did 100 push-ups in front of everybody in the restaurant. So, today's times, you can live to the ripe old age to 70 and 80 and still be pretty viable, almost, to have 20-year-old body, not 20 years old, but 20 years less than the age that you actually are, and still seem young and viable in the whole 9 yards. I can't put past the fact that this had to be a homicide. Obviously, this is all speculation on my part, but they robbed them or tried to rob them, or who knows why people murder people these days. It's for all types of reasons. Every reason always ends up being the same thing: money. We don't know how much Gene Hackman was worth. We can Google search that right now, and that don't necessarily mean that that is true. You can Google search somebody right now, and their net worth, it'll say $150 million, but that could be because they own land, or they're they're involved in some company or something. That don't necessarily mean that's what they have in cash. Could they get it in cash if they sold everything? Yeah. Their personal worth could probably be 10 million bucks. But because they own certain things, or they're involved in certain things, or they've invested, their total assets will be 150. And that's another thing. I think that should be outlawed, that you know how much a motherfucker make. That should be outlawed. Yeah, rest in peace. Shout out to Best. Rest in peace, Gene Hackman. Enemies of the State was a great movie. I appreciate you bringing that up. What's good, man? I appreciate you bringing that up. Enemy of the State was Will Smith and Gene Hackman. For those who didn't see, Regina King was also in that film. She played Will Smith's wife in the movie, and that was an extraordinarily great movie. Who is this? Toby 2K75. What's up, Tobe? What's going on, man? There's a lot of real weird details that are coming out about what happened. Rest in peace, Gene Hackman. There are a lot of weird details. I have to agree. A lot of weird details. Details that are so weird that it seems like this might have been a hit, you guys. For what reason, I have no clue. This sounds like it was premeditated as well. It sounds premeditated. And for those ebonically challenged, or people who don't understand certain terms, premeditated mean it was planned. That somebody planned this to scatter pills all around, to leave them the way they were. He died at the front door. He wasn't shot or anything like that from what the investigation is saying, but the man was dead at the front door with the front door ajar, as if he knew who was coming over to the house. Were they strangled? Gene Hackman was 95 years old, rail thin. I saw him on a video, and you could go look this video up. Gene Hackman eating an ice cream cone. When they showed that dude, he looked 110 pounds. He looked like if you soaked him wet, he would be 125. 120. Tough guy. For those who didn't know, Gene Hackman was a Marine. He was so tough that he lied about his age. He was only 16 years old when he joined the Marines. He said he was 19. He said he was 3 years older than he actually was, and they let him in. The man was a Marine Corps veteran. He got kicked out of the Pasadena Playhouse. He was a part of the Pasadena, out here in California, the Pasadena Playhouse theater group. If I'm not mistaken, it could be another organization, but it was here in California. I don't know what the reasons were for him being summarily kicked out, but he was kicked out of that theater group. So he was a man of his own convictions. I heard on set he could be difficult, as most great actors are. I'm not saying that's good or bad, because I think that's bullshit if you're an asshole if you're on set. To me, that's bullshit. You probably should be the best version of yourself when you're working and dealing with production crew and all that. Because I've been on the other side of the camera as a PA and as a runner, working craft services, all that bullshit. They will fuck you. They will talk down to you. These primary actors, these people on the top of the cast list. But when you get older, you get a little bit more cross. You get a little bit more, short. Your temperament's not always there. So I can understand that, especially being a professionalist like he is. They say Morgan Freeman's a piece of shit on set. They definitely say that Christian Bale is a piece of shit. I actually met Christian Bale. I was working at a stereo, not a stereo company, but a electronics store called Good Guys. For those who lived in California and know that place, Good Guys, Pico and Westwood at the time. And Christian Bale came in and he was a complete jerk. His girlfriend had to come back from the parking lot just to apologize to me because I was like, "Oh, Mr. Bell," and I wasn't all one of them fanned out motherfuckers. The only time I ever fanned out about anybody, and I probably shouldn't have did it that day, was when Alec Baldwin came to the store, and I was just coming back from lunch, and he was like, "Yo, man, Alec Baldwin was just in the store." I was like, "For real?" I chased the motherfucker down. Before I clocked back in, I ran to the Wells Fargo parking lot where they were, and told him how much I liked his, his acting. And he was very cool and very diplomatic about it. "Oh, thank you." And da, 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 da. So I had a cool experience with Alec Baldwin. Not everybody's had that cool experience. But Christian Bale was not that great of a guy. He just wasn't, And I believe notoriety and fame will do that to you. Because everybody, I mean, you do anything infamous or famous. I wouldn't say infamous, but most, there are some people that are infamous. Anna Nicole Smith, infamous. You know what I'm saying? Hell, Donald Trump, though alive, he's infamous. You know what I'm saying? Infamy and fame is two different things. They both deal with fame because the word fame is in there. But you can become famous and be loved, but you can also become infamous and hated. So I think most people, if they ever get a chance to be something or have a few people, just like the people that are on my live today, thank you guys for being here. Treat those people with respect because they could be doing something else. They could be like, "Fuck your movie," or "Fuck your podcast," or "Your music ain't shit," and be listening to something else. Instead, they gave you the time of day. They gave you the time of day to actually listen to you or actually watch your film or actually give a shit about your TV show. Because the motherfuckers ain't gotta like you. Oh man, Toby said this perfectly, and best in regards to what he said facts. Humility is the biggest ability. Humility is the biggest ability, just like availability is the best ability, being available. These NBA players could take a turn from that term. These motherfuckers making, how you making $200 million and you ain't available? "I'm hurt. My toe hurt." Back in the day when all these young players talking about, "Oh man, when Bird and them played, them wasn't nothing but a bunch of plumbers and fucking carpenters and mechanics that was playing." Well, them motherfucking mechanics showed up every fucking game for that 100,000 a year they was making. And they was in fucked up ass shoes like Chuck Taylors and shit, getting an ankle twist and fucked up knees, but they showed up every game. The problem is when you start making a certain amount of money, you get spoiled. The collecting bargaining agreement in sports in the NBA is fucking bullshit. It made those guys feel like they were more powerful than the owners. Now, owners can be, all these owners probably are racist as fuck, but remember, you do work for them, and they have made concessions for you motherfuckers to make this amount of money. They have. So if I was you, your best ability is availability. Show up. If you can't walk, that's one thing. But if you got a little twisty ankle and you can put a little pressure on it and play, get your ass out there and play. Motherfuckers have played on broken foots. Football players be having big ass casts on their hand for when they fucking wrist is broken. They still be out there. What's your fucking problem? But back to the original point about Gene Hackman. Successful, known, notarized, notaries. He's a notarized. You put a stamp on him as being one of the greatest actors that have ever graced the silver screen. He's right there with some of the best, if not on the top. It's hard to make top tens about things like that because filmmaking has been around for over 200 years. It's been around a long time. Directors like Cecil B. DeMille from back in the 30s and 40s, and things like that, all the way to Steven Spielberg of today and Steven Soderbergh and all these different people. So it's hard to say who's the best, but you can say everybody on this live can readily admit that Gene Hackman is the motherfucking man when it comes to filmmaking. He's the motherfucking man. He's done comedy. Hell, for those who didn't remember the Mel Brooks Young Frankenstein movie, he was in that movie. He played the blind man that was lighting a cigar that lit Frankenstein's thumb on fire. He's done it all. He was in Get Shorty with John Travolta. He played the movie producer. So he's done it all. He's done every genre of film you could think of. He's done scary movies. I think he's done horror, if I'm not mistaken. I know he's for sure done drama. I know he's for sure done action. So for him to be gone is a travesty to the art world of filmmaking. Played Lex Luthor. There you go, Toby. Played Lex Luthor in Superman. 2 Superman films, actually. I don't think he did the third one. I don't think he was in the third. That was Superman 3, The Quest for Peace. And that was the one with Richard Pryor, if I'm not mistaken. No. That was the 4th one. He was in 3. He did do 3 Supermans where he created that Sun Man, that or whatever that anti-Superman motherfucker that was made from the sun or some shit like that. So yeah, so I have to give Gene Hackman his props. He's an excellent actor. God rest his soul. Godspeed to him. Further details and other podcasts, we might talk about, whatever the findings they find out in regards to his death. And, just keep your ears and eyes open, keep watching news reports. And I'm pretty sure you'll find out just as much as I do. And if I find out more before you do, I'll let you know right here on KSP. The next thing we're going to talk about it's a sports related thing. I actually enjoy watching this woman. I'm not exactly a fan of her personally, but she looks good. For those who don't know, you might watch Fox Sports 1, a young lady by the name of Joy Taylor, fine as hell. I'll give it to her. She looked good. She act like she knows she looked good, like most sexy women do, with an attitude that actually looks at themselves in the mirror and go, girl, I look good. She is the sister of Hall of Fame linebacker, Miami Dolphin linebacker, Jason Taylor. And she made her way, obviously, early on as a model, spokesperson or spokeswoman, whatever you want to call her, and ended up subsequently getting an opportunity to be an arbitrator or a host who introduced and was like in between 2 sports personalities that would talk about sports, just like Molly Karam is on First Take on ESPN. For those who watch First Take, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp. Now it's been a lot of different people, but she's been summarily suspended from Fox Sports 1, and she's no longer on any programming. And it's a lawsuit. I have some idea about it. Here's a little more information.
Well, the answer to where's Joy Taylor has been answered, and it was answered last night. Apparently, she has been sidelined for an apparent infraction. It's not yet been named by the network themselves, and a spokesperson for Fox Sports has declined to comment, as well as Joy Taylor's representative as well. Because as we all know, she's been noticeably absent for the last almost week on Speak. And you have to wonder, does this have anything to do with those previous allegations and a lawsuit that named her as Skip Bayless in it by that former employee from Fox Sports?
Wow.
Because again, nobody has commented on it. Nobody has said anything. Nobody has even released a statement at this point. It's just an apparent infraction, if you will. And the thing is, like Cam Newton said, there's been a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of things. There hasn't been a true statement that has come out. Even when a lot of other commentators have gotten in trouble over the years. Remember when Michael Irvin had gotten in trouble for the drug paraphernalia and things of that nature?
Yep.
He gave a statement live on the air. And there's been many of other commentators and sports personalities who have either been named in lawsuits or gotten in trouble. They spoke on it on the air and things of that nature, just to kind of quote unquote clear the air. But this one is kind of different. We haven't heard the network say anything. We haven't heard Joy say anything, and we sure as heck have not heard Skip Bayless say anything about the lawsuit. But it's a lot of speculation that's going on throughout the sports world at this point on why she was sidelined. But apparently there was an infraction of some sort. But the thing is, it is widely suspected that she was suspended for a lot of other reasons. But only time will...
Yeah, that's reported by the Undisputed World Champ on TikTok. Thank you for that information, brother. And Joy Taylor, I just read some of the comments on some of the live chatters. Toby said, "Yeah, Joy Taylor is a wild one." He also said Fox Sports was on a freak offs, crazy, and Best returned with some laugh out loud emojis. Now, you guys are hilarious, and you're absolutely right. But ask yourself, don't that shit take place in every fucking company you've ever worked in? Let's be real. I don't give a fuck if it's a textile plant. I don't care if it's all. I don't care if it's a fucking 7-Eleven. I worked at a convenience store and came in for my shift and caught the manager piping the shit out of a chick that was just about to get off the clock. There's no way people are gonna separate their bullshit or whatever they got, their freaky side or any of that stuff from work. They're not going to. You got to know something. You get real close. You get real close to the people that you work with. You get real close. I saw a video recently of the NBA crew with Kendrick Perkins, that light-skinned girl, I can't call her name at the moment. Also with Richard Jefferson and the Abumake girl used to play in the WNBA. And they do videos on TikTok. They do videos, and they're very personable with each other. So much so they be laughing. You see these people more than you see the people that you go to bed with at home. Because all of us, even them, work so much that your home life will suffer. It's only when you retire or when you get some time off, you actually get to spend that with your significant other. So these things are going to happen if you're attracted to somebody. Or if you got it in you to be on some freaky shit, you're going to do it. Yeah, co-workers fraternization happens. She was basically selling kitty. She even said she sleep with anyone if the money is right. Yeah, I saw that video that you're talking about when she has I think it's a podcast or something to that effect with another attractive lady who I can't call her name, but she actually did say something like that. And a lot of these women, and that's the reason why all of if you're an ugly guy and women used to talk shit about you or put you down or stuff, and you fuck around and get 100 million, all of a sudden, I'm telling you, you're gonna be fine as hell to their ass. The ones who actually have morals and actually felt like, oh no, he ain't gonna never be cute enough, will actually stand on business. I don't give a fuck how much money he got. That nigga is not my type. But the ones who care about the money more than they care about how you smell or what you look like, they're gonna fuck with you. Pac said it when he was alive. God rest his soul. Before he blew up, when he was like an underling in Digital Underground, they go to parties. He tried to holler at a girl. He'd be like, ugh, get away from me. I don't fuck with you. 2 years later, when his first album went through the roof, them same girls would see him and they be fainting, like, oh, it's Pac. He was like, that's that same bitch that dissed me. That's that same one that dissed me. All of a sudden, she just can't be next to you. And she was dissing you 2 years ago. Now she can't stand next to you or she losing her mind. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And the same she definitely, this is what Chris Negus Freeman says. She definitely alluded to being a dominant, likes to play in the lifestyle. Everybody in this fucking chat knows there's a such thing as a lifestyle, i.e., Diddy wouldn't be in jail. Don't be surprised you find out Joy Taylor ass was at a Diddy party. Don't be surprised if you find out some of your favorite rappers, some of your favorite singers, some of your favorite actors, some of your favorite comedians, some of your favorite this, some of your favorite that, some of the most gigantic business owners and commanders of industry were at these parties getting a freak on. I don't know why everybody's so surprised. Shit, when you was broke, I'm talking about me, you, and everybody else. We didn't went to parties where we got the cracking. Not crazy like that. I ain't never been to no weirdo shit. But I have been to shit when we was fucking young. I don't know if y'all remember this game, but when we was young, it'd be some guys and some young girls. We'd meet somewhere, we play hide and go get it. I don't know if you remember that game where a girl, you know, a girl would hide. They'd be like, go find the Dex. And when you find her, wherever y'all is, or wherever she was hiding, y'all start getting it in. Most of the time, a chick would try to hide somewhere, it was obvious, like in a closet. And you catch her ass in the closet, you go in there and you know what it's for the crack and shit. So we've been doing this shit since we was young kids. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Toby said, I don't look at a lot of celebrities the same. You can't, we shouldn't have been looking at them any type of way from the beginning. The only way you start to realize that that shit is fleeting and bullshit is when you get wise enough to understand. Because when you're young and you're coming up, you're impressionable. You're impressionable. Your impressions of people are formed. And not only that, your impressions of people are formed by the people around you. You're adults. You know, how we would watch our mothers and our mothers loved Jeffrey Osborne or Luther. Hell, when Luther Vandross was out, all these women was, Luther. We didn't know he was gay. We had no idea Luther Vandross was gay. We used to just think he got all the women. Luther looked like a regular dude and was gay. Prince looked like he was gay, but had all the women and was more heterosexual than most men. Perception is a fucking crapshoot. Perception is a fucking crapshoot. You have no clue. Never fucking judge a book by its cover. That's an old statement, but it's the goddamn truth. Prince went out of his way to act feminine and wear those clothes to make you think something that wasn't what it was. All the time you thinking he gay and he can't and he's soft, but he'll beat your ass and play better basketball than you and take your bitch. And that's facts. That's facts. What did he say? Chris just said Tokyo Valentino and the Trapeze are lifestyles clubs and local in Atlanta. The lifestyle is definitely more common than most think. Well, shit, they've been doing that since I was a kid in the 70s. They had places like that. What you think that movie was about? And what movie I'm talking about is the not Francis Ford Coppola. What's his name? God damn it, he passed away. Anyway, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, his at the time wife, was in a movie. God damn, y'all can name the film for me. The guy who directed A Clockwork Orange. It was about that very subject, about these sex parties. People wearing masks, you know what I'm saying, and just boning and doing all kind of freaky shit to each other. You know what I'm saying? And you wasn't supposed to tell nobody, hence they would kill you. Eyes wide shut. There you go. Eyes wide shut. I knew I had it on the tip of my tongue. Y'all know I know movies like a motherfucker, but I'm getting older. I don't be remembering shit. I ain't got no bad memory. Don't think that bullshit or nothing like that, or Alzheimer's setting in, because I'm far from that shit. But it's hard to remember all this stuff. Stanley Kubrick, not Gary Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick. Thank you for saying that. Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick is a extraordinarily gifted director. One of his famous movies was A Clockwork Orange. A Clockwork Orange. No, it's Stanley Kubrick, fellas. Y'all up there talking about Gary Kubrick. See, I told you I got a good memory. I just got to remember. I got to remember the movie, and Stanley Kubrick is his name. He said, "Okay, I was on to something." You most certainly were. You the one that refreshed my memory by saying Kubrick. So, but yeah, Stanley Kubrick, if you go and look at his filmography, if you Google him, you'll see all the films that he did over the years. Stanley Kubrick, he's also the director of Full Metal Jacket, that Vietnam movie. Stanley Kubrick, who was in that I wanted to say? Army, the guy's name is Army something, but he played the drill sergeant or the drill instructor in Full Metal Jacket. And Stanley Kubrick, an amazing, he's also gone too, God rest his soul. July 20, date of birth, July 26, 1928. His death was March 7th, 1999. Thank you, Chris, for that information, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, they did cut 30 or 40 minutes of Eyes Wide Shut because it was too telling. Meaning it would have revealed so much about, and a lot of people seem to think he made that movie and was killed for it. A lot of people think that Stanley Kubrick making that film was, and this is all speculation now, I'm not saying nothing that's fact, but they all seem to think that making that film Eyes Wide Shut led to his demise. And if that's the case, we live in a real treacherous ass world. But getting back to Joy Taylor, I don't know if it's that deep, but the lawsuit has a lot to do with what's going on, the inner workings and the personal lives of those individuals. Even Skip Bayless, who Skip Bayless was also promiscuous, trying to be promiscuous with the ladies on staff. The ladies on staff at Fox. You notice he's no longer on the network. He hasn't been on the network for a while. They gave him a choice to say that he retired instead of firing him. So they did that so he would save face. Gentlemen, ladies, if there's any ladies on here, this is a wild ass world we live in. And the money don't necessarily shield you from any persecution. Let's talk about something that's really bothering me about sports. Y'all remember when Deshaun Watson was all over the news? They could not stop talking about his rape allegations or his SA and his sexual assault allegations to all the masseuses that he was using. I mean, that pretty much brought him to his demise. And they did that to fuck with him psychologically. There's a kicker that kicks for the Baltimore Ravens who has the same fucking allegations, and you hear nothing about it. He's white, obviously. He's white, obviously. Pull up that kicker's name. Pull up that kicker's name for the Baltimore Ravens, who has 20-something odd allegations. Justin Tucker. That is exactly right, Toby. Justin Tucker. He has 20 allegations of the same offense that Deshaun Watson has, and they've mentioned it once, and they let that issue be dead. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I don't give a shit who's on here, if you're Caucasian, whatever. There is a fucking catch-22 in this world. If you're white, they're not gonna fuck with you like that. They're not gonna drag your name through the mud. They do this shit for a reason. They want white people to think that we're a certain type of individuals, that we're evil, that we are sexual beasts, that we're sexual assaulters, that we can't be trusted, that we can't be given money. I'll tell you when all this shit started in regards to Deshaun Watson, and this all ties into the whole thing with Joy Taylor, because women don't get called out for the shit they do either. They don't. Deshaun Watson wanted out of the Houston Texans. He wanted out of there. He wanted to go somewhere he could quarterback a team to, hopefully, to the Super Bowl. He forced his way out. A lawyer brought these charges and allegations against him when he finally forced his way into a trade to the Cleveland Browns. And that lawyer is a friend of the owner of the Houston Texans. No, when he was playing for the Texans, there were no allegations about him. He was there for at least 5 years. Nothing, not a peep. Then all of a sudden, when he forced their hand, basically they were telling him, nigga, we could slap you back down to earth. You don't tell us what you want to do, we tell you. And then all of a sudden, they decided they was going to drag his name through the mud and put him, they literally could have had that man put in prison. They could have had him put in prison behind these allegations. All they did was tainted his name and fucked his mind up mentally to where he couldn't play no more. That boy can't throw that ball at all. He can't throw that ball at all anymore. You've seen it. You guys have watched him. He's absolutely fucked up mentally now. He is not the same player. And it was because of all of this shit he had to go through just to get out of the Houston. And then Houston ends up getting a #1 pick, and now they got a quarterback now again. And Justin Tucker did the same fucking shit that he did, and you don't hear a peep about it. Not one word. Nothing. Let's talk about the NBA, where there were allegations on sexual misconduct by other players, and all of them black. They drug their names through the mud. That chick Malika Harris, or Andrews, or whatever the fuck her name is, Malika. I know it's Malika. When the Celtics head coach, who is now the Houston Rockets head coach, and formerly the husband of what is old girl's name? Oh God damn it, real sexy, was in all these movies. I almost called it. I see her in my fucking mind. I see her. I can't fucking call her. But anyway, he got fired. Nia Long, there you go. Thank you, bro. Nia Long, who looking good as all get out. And she's aging like fine wine. Damn. He was fired, and Malika Andrews, or whatever her name was tearing his ass up. If you notice, guys, you watch these shows. Whenever a brother do something, that shit is on every fucking ESPN, Sports Center. And if it's a show for that specific sport, like NBA Today or the NFL Today, they're talking about it. Well, that white dude from Australia who plays for the Bulls now, who used to play for Oklahoma, that motherfucker was fucking a 16-year-old. And that's not alleged. That's true. He was having sex with a 16-year-old girl. He's in pictures with her all on her Instagram. On his Instagram. No charges ever brought. They never talked about it one goddamn time. It was mentioned once. Ime Udoka, the former coach of the Boston Celtics. Now, the funny thing is that the guy who's the Celtics coach now was on. Now, ask yourself why, whenever they interview that black guy, the new Celtics coach, since they won the championship, why he's so cross with the media, and he answers them so negatively. Because his homeboy got summarily fired for this so-called inappropriate relationship with a white staffer who they never named, but named him. Didn't want her name. Malika Andrews tried to summarily check Stephen A. Smith on air that he shouldn't be bringing up her name. Why does the woman bring her damn name up? She was in it too. She probably initiated it. Women know how weak men are. Hell, you could be in your office late night. That woman been thinking about giving you some forever, and walk in there with a trench coat, and what you gonna do? You could throw her out your office. She might yell rape. Most men is gonna take advantage of that situation, tear that you know what up, and tell her to get on somewhere. She'll be happy in the whole 9 yards. 9 times out of 10, I'll see that coming a mile away. I ain't gonna even lie to you. If I was in that situation, I would see it coming a mile away, and I would make sure that woman won't be around me. And my doors is locked. You can knock on my door all you want. They waiting to set your ass up. Bill Belichick is a creep. Now, Chris just brought up Bill Belichick. They don't talk about these things, man. They don't talk about these things. Long time ago. I don't know if you guys remember this. There was a tight end that played with Brett Favre on the Green Bay Packers. Mike Chimura was his name. Mike Chimura had sex. Mike Chimura had sex with his 16-year-old babysitter. Ended up going to prison. They don't talk about this. They don't mention the white crimes. They're not going to. I don't blame the white dudes that end up being criminals. I blame the system that tells the media you will always put a negative light on the black people. They never validate any of the brothers and sisters that's out there doing good that are millionaires or billionaires. For those who don't even know, there are 3 billionaires, 3 black heads of industry in the United States. I bet you can't name them. And it's not Oprah Winfrey. I bet you can't name them. I bet you can't name I bet you can't name. My fucking speakers just went off. I'm gonna have to turn those on again. I bet you can't name them. Give me 2 seconds. I bet you can't name them, and I bet you can't name the companies or the products that they sell. Give me 1 second. We'll be right back. Goddamn right. Goddamn right. It's a crazy world we live in. It's a crazy world we live in. We talking that shit today. Corner Store Podcast, episode 143. 143, goddammit. And before I continue, like, subscribe, send this shit to every goddamn body that you know, because we be on talking that real shit. And also comment. For those who don't know, as of today, we are at 21,154 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for being a part of my maturation and my growth. I couldn't be more blessed. I really appreciate y'all. Somebody mentioned Tyler Perry just now. Please tell me the significance of mentioning him. The only reason why I'll even say anything about Tyler Perry is Tyler Perry ain't nothing. Tyler Perry came from nothing. He used to be homeless just like I had a battle homelessness myself. Thank God I came out of it. And he definitely turned his situation into, he parlayed that into what's going on with him now. He definitely did that. He parlayed that into what he has going on with Tyler Perry Studios down there in Georgia. You can't knock that. But if you mentioning Tyler Perry, you mentioning him because he's that whole entertainment spectrum. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm trying to do my thing, y'all. I'm trying to do my thing. Please like, subscribe. You know, I appreciate it. You know, I really do. I can't really say nothing bad about Tyler Perry, even though I know and we know that there's probably some skeletons in that closet. We got to know that. But ask yourself, he who casts. Oh, yo, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Thank you for pointing that out, man. Thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate it. Nah, it didn't freeze. Thank y'all for pointing that out. My mic got muted there for a second. I want to say that again. Shout out to Vern Miller, Verne Miller. He's from New York, and check out some of his music. Go on YouTube or anything and check that brother's music out. He's called The Dangerous Gentleman. He's got a cool few songs. I really, really like what he's doing. Hopefully I can have him on the new artist music review. I just got a text from a pizzeria in the neighborhood, Mama and Papa's Pizzeria, trying to give me a special on a pie. Shit. They trying to make my ass fat, boy. What the fuck? I'm already big as hell. I can't be eating these pizzas like these. That motherfucker got some of the best pizza in the San Fernando Valley. I ain't gonna even front. That pizza is crazy Italian good. God damn. See, now that they should have never showed me that shit. Now I might want to get one. Oh, Vern, man, I'm glad you're still here. No, I'm honored to know you, bro. And we definitely gonna do we have a, for those who didn't know, me and Mr. Miller are gonna be having a interview, and I will be featuring some of his music on the pod and on my other content on YouTube. If you haven't seen any of my content in regards to music, one of the shows is called New Artists, Corner Store Television New Artist Music Review. I just had an episode recently. I also do a show where we listen to instrumental beats by YouTube and Spotify beat makers. Some of these guys are unknown. Some are already out there getting it. People have been using their using their beats they create in music. I've used some myself. You know, my old ass is still trying to rap and do certain shit. I always say that. I always disparage myself. People say I need to stop saying that and saying negative shit like that. But I just be talking shit. It ain't, you know, I love myself. Believe me, I hold myself in very high regard. But you know, it's all about what other people supposedly think about you. But who gives a fuck what they think? It's about what you think about yourself. And I hold myself in the highest and utmost regard, as well as I hold, especially people like you guys, for being on the show, for giving me some back and forth and some feedback on the topics we talk about. I couldn't be more blessed to have you talking to me right now and giving me feedback. I'm honored. I'm honored. You're honored. I'm definitely honored. Thank y'all so much. Since we kind of got off of the subject as far as Joy Taylor and the sexual promiscuity that goes on in the entertainment business, we're gonna go ahead and talk about uh, this last subject, is the ongoing feud between Suge Knight and Snoop Dogg. Uh, I had mentioned recently, if you haven't seen this on YouTube, if any of you guys that are on the live chat or anybody that's going to see the episode later on or pop on here while we're talking, I'm going to be on the 28th and 29th of this month, as of, well, March 1st. March 1st is tomorrow. On the 28th and 29th of next month, I will be at a professional domino league tournament conducted by the Universal Domino League. Look them up. Universal Domino League. Write that down if you'd like to really know what they all about. Universal Domino League. Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre supposed to be making an appearance. It's going to be at the Gardens Casino in Hawaiian Gardens, California. I'm going to be a guest referee. I'm honored to be involved in that. I used to play dominoes quite often. I haven't played in many years, but I obviously know the game. I know how to lock up the board on that ass. I ain't always playing for points. I'm playing to lock the board up and get domino that way a lot of times. But if you can't, you just try to bust ass and get as many point pause on the bust ass and get many points as you can. So that's going to be happening on the 28th and 29th. If you're in California, if you're somebody that's on the live, you're in California, don't forget that. I think entry for spectators is free, if I'm not mistaken. But if you like to get in the tournament, it's $150, if I'm not mistaken. Now, look, this is the reason why I'm telling you to go on the Universal Domino League's Instagram page, the UDL. Just look them up. Google Universal Domino League. They'll obviously have the rules. They'll obviously have entry fees. They'll obviously have everything you need to know about this March 28th and 29th event. It's going to be great. It's at a great casino, great food there, great restaurant. It's also a hotel. If you can fly your ass in town, maybe you could stay there and you know, play some games and shit, as well as come and watch the domino tournament. I will be there. I am not sure if I will be doing a podcast there. That I don't know. 9 times out of 10, that's probably not going to happen. Maybe I'll go live in some capacity on some remote stuff, meaning like some on a phone or something to that sense. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're on the East Coast. I know that. I know that. I wish you was out here to hang with the homie, you know what I'm saying? Get some of this good Cali bud, you know what I'm saying, and chill out and maybe meet you a Philly and act silly, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. That's gonna happen, and I probably will just go live on Instagram or maybe live on YouTube and just say that I'm at the event, and it's gonna be crazy. First prize is 10 bands. Exactly. See, best. That's why I like best. You know about everything that I be talking about. That's why I fucks with you, my nigga. You all right. The first prize is $10,000, y'all. The first prize is $10,000 if you happen to be in the finals. If you win the last match, you will get 10 bands. And yeah, and Snoop Dogg and Dr. J supposedly supposed to make an appearance. I'm pretty sure they will. One of the creators of the UDL used to work for I think Aftermath, not Death Row. I think he worked for Aftermath Entertainment with Dr. Dre. Speaking on the Suge Knight situation, I have a little sound that I want to play in regards to that. If I can find it, hold on a sec. Let me see. I think it's the
changed everything for Tupac and for Death Row as well. Tupac was killed, and Snoop fell deep into depression, not knowing what would happen next. He did, however, understand that this needed to end. Generally speaking, he was just advocating for peace. In 1996, Knight was in jail for violating his parole during a shooting in Las Vegas. Snoop wanted to end the conflict with Bad Boy Records and wanted to ask Suge what he thought about it.
Just, that's the word I got back. So it made me.
This sound is not the best way to really describe what's going on. From what I saw, from what I've seen and heard in regards to that situation, there's rumors. Now, this is all alleged. I'm about to meet this man here in a couple of weeks, so I don't want to say nothing negative. I have talked shit about Snoop because of that appearance that he made for Donald Trump during his campaign or during his victory. And he went and did that show. But you know what? I'm over that, man. Everybody got to make their own choices of how they want to do things. Like if I was in a position to where they asked me to be a part of Donald Trump's anything, I don't care how much money they was offering because of my convictions. I had to stand on business and say, I'm gonna have to pass. It's neither, you know, yay or nay on him as a person. I'm like, I already know what he about. So I'm not tripping on the money. Snoop has his reasons for doing what he did. Snoop has his reasons for taking that job. But I was highly critical of him for doing that, especially after what he said now 3 years ago about anybody that will perform for his inauguration the first time he won. It's, you know, he said all kind of different things about them, and then he turned around and became the person he was speaking on. So to me, that just, you know, you can't say that and then turn around and do something else. It kills your credibility. It destroys your credibility with people. You know, summarily, from what I understand, he's lost like 200,000 followers on Instagram. Will that hurt him monetarily? I don't know. I don't know what dude makes. I know he owns Death Row now. And that was one of the things that he was talking about. One of the reasons why Suge Knight keeps mentioning him, because he owns that label now. I think Harry O might be involved in it as well. And for those who don't know who Harry O is, he's the one who fronted Suge Knight the money initially to, or helped put the money together. And this is all from what I've been gathering from this, and helped get Death Row started. And then Harry O ended up subsequently going to prison. I think he's been released since then, and he may even be a part of some type of way of Death Row. Now, it's coming out about rumors that this is all speculation. I don't believe it, but they're talking about there's a chance that Snoop had something to do with Diddy being arrested and the case that he has pending on him, as well as having something to do with. This is crazy, man. This is all speculation, and I'm not doing this for clicks or likes or nothing. I promise y'all. You can look this stuff up yourselves in the sound on it. And people say a lot of fucking things on these different pods and different video content makers just to, you know, to be sounding like they know what they're talking about. But they're saying that Snoop not even had a hand in Orlando and them knowing where Tupac was going to be in Vegas. And in other words, saying that he might have had the hand in them helping him get shot. At this point, everybody, I have no effing clue. Money drives people to do the wildest, psychotic things. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. If it comes out that that's true, nothing's far-fetched anymore. If somebody was to say there's vampires that'll lure you to a motel and bite your penis or your coochie, I'd believe people then after that, because at this point it would just be too much. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, the guy who's in office, and I hate to keep mentioning him every time I have a pod, but you can't help but mention the dude that's in office now. The last time he was in office, as far as I'm concerned, he's a mass murderer. He helped. A lot of people feel like that virus wasn't real and they ended up dying because of it. Hundreds of thousands of people. He's the biggest mass murderer in the history of the United States. There's not that many people that have been the reason for thousands of people dying. And that's just the truth. And he's back in office again because there's some kind of witchcraft or spell that's been put over people of our color, black people and white people and Hispanics alike. Felt like if they put him in office, that shit don't make no sense to me. There's got to be some witchcraft involved because it's obvious this motherfucker's a criminal and a crook. It's so obvious. It's right in your face. Other people have got to a point where they're like, well, shit, a criminal can't do no worse. If you think that, this country is fucked. If you think you can put a motherfucker that you know is a swindler in charge of everything, as a country, we cook, y'all. We are fucking cooked. I've always said this, and I'll say this until I'm blue in the face. You can go on back on all of my lives. I would suggest you do that, especially all you wonderful people that's on the chat today. Some of y'all probably have not seen all my fucking podcasts, all my lives. A lot of you have become subscribers and supporters because of the shorts that I've been making. The hip hop is one of my loves. I love hip hop. I love filmmaking. I love animation. I love a lot of things. So I've incorporated that in my channel, Corner Store Television. It's all through my thought process. It's all through the things that I love. And it seems to have resonated with people, and I couldn't be more happy about that. So please go back to the early days and look at some of the things and some of the people that I've talked to. I've talked to a girl who's a street racer, 32 years old, model, who has a fucking a Charger RT, and she out there racing on the street. She's in a car club called Mopar Madness. I've talked to actors. I've talked to rappers, up and coming rappers. I've talked to business people. I've talked to cyber security experts. I've had everybody on Corner Store Podcast in this studio and everywhere else. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Toby said, this is my first time watching the pod. I'm one of those who found you scrolling through shorts. I couldn't be more happy that has brought you to Corner Store Television, and thank God for that. I'm a firm believer in the Almighty too, for those who, because there's a lot of spiritual talk I'll say on my shows. If you don't believe in God, that's your business. There's the only reason why I even have what I have is because of him. The only reason I have what I have is because of him. It's because of the Almighty. He keeps me not only grounded, he keeps me fed, he keeps me motivated, and he keeps a roof over my head. Everything I have, everything I ever will have, everything I'll do will be because of the grace of the Almighty, the Alpha and Omega that creates everything. And I appreciate y'all being here, and I thank y'all. And one of the things I wanted to say is the narrative will never change on here. I've thought of all kinds of different ways to keep people coming to the lives and coming to the pods and getting to a point where people would engage, just like a lot of these places, like the guy on the Star Report. I don't know if you guys watch him on YouTube, the Star Report. He's based in New York. That man averaged about 900 people on his lives. I want to get to that point where people are engaging with me and listening to what I have to say. He said, bruh, it's horrible. He might be, Chris. He might be horrible, but he's got the engagement. He's got the engagement. He has people's ears. He has people's he's very opinionated too. He had what's the girl's name that's going around telling on all the people? I forget that girl name. Used to be a singer, Jaguar Wright. He had Jaguar Wright on the show, and they got into it, and he called her all kind of bitches and how he'd fuck her up and her man and all that. I ain't necessarily trying to be like that. I guarantee you, a motherfucker call me out and say something. I've only had one incident where it almost went down like that. I was at a music event at a small little club on Western Avenue in the hundreds in LA at South Central, and I did a live podcast. Shout out to Mr. Slim Marcus. He was my co-host, and I did a live there, and some guy came in there talking about Donald Trump. And I was like, bro, we're not here for that. We're here, to talk to these artists and everything. Well, I want to talk about Donald, and we almost got into it. That would have been the first time you ever saw me go hands and feet on a motherfucker on my live. But it didn't go there. I ended up letting the motherfucker even do some interviewing. That's how cool I am, just to cool down the situation. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Joseph Wiggins, man. Appreciate you. I salute y'all too, man, for sure. I did that with the wrong fucking hand. It's supposed to be with the right hand. And if you notice, this is a real salute. I used to be in the Army, so I know what to fucking do. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. By the way, I want to give a shout out to my son, Brandon Davis, hip hop artist as well. KG Hustle. He's in the Navy, and we found out that he has passed all of his basic training courses. The last test he took was a swimming test. He has passed that test. He is now officially a United States sailor. Yes, sir. He is officially a United States sailor. He will be going to his training school and learning his trade, whatever that trade is. I think he's going to be working on a frigate, or he might be working on a destroyer. I don't know what his job is, but he will be going to sea sometimes. If you know anything about the Navy, if you work on an aircraft carrier, you're at sea 6, 7, 8 months because it's like a floating hotel. And as well as a nuclear sub crewmen, they usually be out there for a long, long time. Those particular two vessels in the Navy are very imperative to protecting the United States. But if you're on a destroyer or a frigate, you're not out there as long. I think they do 3 months. I'm not sure about this. I've never been a sailor, but this is what I heard. But my son, shout out to Brandon Davis, aka KG Hustle, out of Compton, California. Well, originally Bellflower, California is where he was born, but we moved Inglewood, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? AKA Black Falcon. You stupid for that, Chris. He said KG Hustle, aka Black Falcon. I appreciate that, bro. I will tell him that. He gonna fucking cry laughing. He will be graduating and getting his ceremony will be on March 13th. I'll actually be by the way, I'll actually be doing some voiceover work at Wildside Studios in Culver City, California on the 13th. God keeps finding me acting jobs. I couldn't be more happy. The Lord blessed me. I asked him that I wanted to be in this business, and he made sure that I got to be doing what I love to do, and I couldn't be more happy. Thank you, Lord. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate him. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all, May. I appreciate Yahshua, which is Jesus' real name, by the way. Yahshua. It's not Jesus. But people still call him by that, and I'm sure the Son of God does not mind that you call him by that name. But I couldn't be happier, y'all. And I just want to tell y'all, thank you, man. Episode 134. I keep going backwards. Episode 143 has been an honor. It's been a pleasure. As you can tell by the way I'm talking, I'm excited. I'm so glad to have the engagement I've had today. I want to give a shout out to Sonia Ingersoll, my girlfriend. I love you, babe. I see you here on the pod as well. Shout out to my mom, to my children's mothers, my daughters, everybody. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to my nephews. Shout out to Best in France. Shout out to the homie Vern Miller. Shout out to all my New York Toby, all the people, Mr. Wiggins, thank you for being here. Everybody, it's been an honor, y'all. This has been Corner Store Podcast, episode 143. I'll be on again soon. Y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay prayed up. Get that bread. Get that bread, y'all. And before we get out of here, I'll give you a little something. Look, yeah. Keep your mind framed. Keep doing the business. Listen to this shit. I'm Dex 300. I get blunted every day. At least I used to. So fuck you. If you think I'm high, I'ma wave bye-bye. Cause I ain't gonna never cry. And I ain't gonna never die. I'ma fly high with angel wings. I'ma say good the Lord, cause you know he gonna sing. Look, Corner Store Podcast, Corner Store Television is my vision. And we live in the light that God gave us. So trust. Yeah. Peace, y'all. Yeah. Uh-huh.